Good day, everyone. Welcome back to DocTalk Q&A. Today's show is called ATP and Immunity. But before we get started with my dear friend Joshua Flint, I just want to say something. You know what? I hope that you're all taking advantage of this time being at home to actually take time for yourself. You know what? Eating right, resting, spending time with your family, really contemplating about things, taking a look at how you can improve your life. I'm serious. Improve your life and take your power back. Okay? Understand something. Where is it in your life that you believe, okay, that you need to take your power back? That where you could improve your life emotionally, physically, or maybe both. Okay? Or maybe improve your business when you get back. But the reality is, let's not make the coronavirus the topic of discussion on a continual basis and the topic of worry. I want everybody to understand something. You know, I think that life is so precious. And understand something. Do your own research and you'll find out, like Joshua has and anybody else who's done their research and isn't being caught up in all this fear, that the coronavirus is a weak virus. It is not a strong virus, but it is a strong virus if you're weak. So if you have bad habits, if you have bad moods up and down, if you fear things, okay, if you get depressed a lot, because your mind, okay, is in charge of your body. And then when you make bad decisions, you don't eat right, think right, drink right, live right. And if you can't find peace within throughout this chaos, that tells you where your emotional stability is. And understand something. While this is all going on and not everybody, but a lot of people are panicking over this make-believe pandemic, what do your cupboards look like? What does the fridge look like? What foods are in there that are causing inflammation in your body? What foods in there are full of pesticides, herbicides, dyes? Which foods are processed foods, refined carbs, okay, sugars, okay? What about the alcohol? Think about everything about your home. How can you take action to make your home into a love zone, into a health zone? And men out there and the women of the house, you got to hold the loving line. You got to learn to hold the loving line, not just in your home, but guess what? With your government, with the medical system, with me. You got to hold the line against me. Anybody that has authority over you or thinks they do, you have to question authority. And here's the problem. That's why we are where we are today, because we don't question authority. We got to stop being scared. Okay? Understand something. North America, we talk about how strong we are. Well, we're going to find out how strong we are when this virus has got us all shaking in our boots. And this is because we're not managing and learning how to create the perfect day on an emotional and physical level. And we're allowing everyone else to manage us. We've got to take back our lives. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about Humic and Fulvic products. We're going to be talking about ATP. We're going to be talking about not the fear of the coronavirus. We're going to be talking about how we can create the perfect day from the minute we wake up till the time we go to bed and never have to worry about any bug. Because as Louis Pasteur said, hey, Joshua, the terrain is everything. The bug is nothing. And guess what? They've made the bug everything. And that bug is definitely bugging most people right now, isn't it? What do you think, Joshua?
The fear of it is.
Yeah.
It's not everything that I've learned that it's just a common virus, and so that fear is what's being hyped for a purpose.
So we're not going to focus on this today. We're going to focus on how to create great health. Okay, so that you can have great wealth. Because if you don't have great health, you're not going to have great wealth.
and how you can go beyond fear.
Yeah, that's right. So anyways, let's start off, okay? All right. Let me go through a couple things before we start. On April the 4th to the 24th, okay, we have our combined courses here in Canada, and we still have one place left if anybody's interested, and that's in the Whole Life Coach and also in the non-surgical course. July 4th to the 24th, we're in Orlando. Oh, no, we're not. July 4th to the 24th, we're in Kelowna again. So if you'd like, I'm sure that they're going to let everybody out of the house and let you come to visit Canada again, everybody. And all the Canadians won't be scared to travel. Come and see us. Come take our courses. July 4th to 24th, the Whole Life Coach and the Wolfe Non-Surgical. Then we'll be in Orlando in September, Palm Springs in November, and then our upcoming shows. Okay, tomorrow it's called Coronavirus, Microcirculation, and Avicin. And the reason why is because the Avicin will increase the circulation in the body by 100% more than any other energy medicine device. And I'll have Thomas Malbauer here, and he's going to be talking about how he was approached, okay, by the government arm of health because they realized that this increases the circulation to the point that it helps dismantle viruses. Go figure. And he's going to be talking about his meeting with them, okay? And then next week, on Monday, everybody, here's the explosive one. I'm going to have Del Bigtree here. And Del Bigtree is going to be talking about the coronavirus, but he's going to be talking about the truth about it. He has explosive information to uncover with you and to show you what's real. He's going to pull the pants down on this thing, okay? So be here Monday at, tomorrow I'll be with Tom Malbauer when he'll be talking about microcirculation and how to improve it by 66% within the body. That's at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. And it'll be a live show on YouTube and on Facebook. And then on Monday, I'm with Del Bigtree. So tell everybody you can to come and watch that show on Monday. And then on Friday, we're going to take all your questions with Del Bigtree live. So we'll be live on Monday for the show. And then we're taking all your questions live a week from tomorrow, Friday, okay? And that would be March the 30th for the show. And then on Friday, which would be what? April the 4th, right? Am I correct? What day is that? Friday. Anyways, my guys didn't put it down. So just know that it's Monday for the show with Del Bigtree, and the Q&A is on the following Friday, a week from this Friday. All right? And that's it. We've got more shows coming up next week, but we will talk about that later, okay? Okay, so it's April the 3rd with Del Bigtree with the Q&A. Thank you. All right, let's talk about the questions that we have, okay? The first question, and also, can you get Lewis to bring in my phone? We will be taking live questions from everyone. So if you could get them to bring in my phone, I'd appreciate it. And you can just put your questions in on, and what we're talking about today is we're talking about immunity, okay, ATP and immunity, and we're also talking about the Humic and the Fulvic. And if you've got any questions about immune system, we're here for you. The first question is from Carl from Facebook. I have chronic fatigue and do not have enough energy to take care of myself. Do you think your Life Crystal ATP would give me energy back? So just so everybody knows, the ATP is right here. And I'll make it real short explanation. ATP is it's a formula that Joshua put together. And what it does, it helps to go in and help to repair mitochondria, and it helps to restore ATP within the body, right? And it has life crystals in it from Dr. George Merkel.
Yes.
Go ahead, Joshua.
Well, it's interesting. ATP, chronic fatigue is actually listed as a dysfunctional ATP cycle. So we've had people, who's given us testimonies of not being able to really take care of themselves or get up off the couch. And when they started using the ATP, they were able to get their life back and to start making other choices. If you don't have enough energy to get off the couch, you don't have a lot of choices to make.
Absolutely. And guess what? And just to show you that I love ATP, That's all that's left in this bottle. I just took a big shot of it before we started the show. Anyways, so I love ATP. And also, we're the only organic ATP that I know of. Joshua, is that right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's
And ATP is not just for that. It's for people who want lots of energy, but clean energy. It's not like drinking a coffee and getting all the jitters and spun out.
Yeah, no, it gives you energy, but it gives you focused energy.
Yeah, clarity. And so anybody who wants energy or doesn't have energy, and what about people that are chronically ill? They can't make ATP properly. They don't have energy. Okay. Just so you know, I got my phone, so if you want to start putting your questions in. So they don't have energy. So how do you get people well? Well, in this case, we'd have them take ATP like 5 times a day to really supercharge and get their ATP going. Because remember something, whether you believe it or not, but autoimmune diseases and cancer, it is a shortage of ATP because it is actually dysfunctional mitochondria that are the leading causes of autoimmune diseases and cancer. Correct, Joshua?
Yes. Yeah. So the ATP brings the mitochondria into coherent energy, and when that happens, you get more energy. And the mitochondria respond very well to the life crystals. The life crystals are more than just ATP. They're ATP and GTP and the 5 carbon sugars. And it's the perfect cell food. So when you can put the energy directly and the food directly to the cell, then you have amazing results in wholeness and in health and in energy. Everything is energy. If you're out of energy, you can't even really think clearly to correct your situation.
And you know what? And that's why people, when something comes and it actually attaches to them, like it could be a bacteria or a virus, okay? When that happens, if you aren't making ATP, then you don't have the energy to combat that, correct?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Here's Joe from Facebook. Hi. If Fulvic is actually humic, why should one need both? Why wouldn't you just use Fulvic?
Well, Fulvic does something totally different than the standard humic. And how we separate them out is by the size of the molecule. The Fulvic is considered nano in size, and it'll go right through the cell membrane. And it's called the miracle molecule because it will carry up to 60 elements and nutrients directly into the cell. And it will attract to itself 3 times its own weight in heavy metals or radioisotopes and alter the ionic form so you can safely detox it. So Fulvic's purpose in here, in that it goes right into the cell, yes, it is humic, but the humic is a large molecule by itself. So large that it puts a coating on viruses' receptor sites. And so was it the National
Institute of Health that stated that?
Oh yeah, from the National Institute of Health in 2002, they tested humic acid and found that it stops Hunt and Ebola viruses, herpes, HIV, cancer, tuberculosis, virtually all viruses. And you know, the fact that humic acid puts a coating on viruses' receptor sites, it stops all viruses because it doesn't care what the virus is. It puts a coating on it. So if you have humic acid in your system before you're exposed to a virus, you won't even get the virus. But if you've already been got exposed to the virus and caught it, if you start taking humic acid, it'll stop it from going deeper, but it won't get rid of that initial sickness that you get from it. But when the cell that it gets into, or the cells that it gets into, start to make more babies, those babies won't be allowed. They won't
be allowed to proliferate, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, because they come into the humic acid and it stops them from
Lockdown.
yeah.
Puts them in lockdown.
So humic acid is really the anti-pandemic. It can protect you from everything. It should have in 2002. My question was, why wasn't it front page news that we've found the solution? This is the cure for all disease. Seriously, if you go to the ebook on the Doc of Detox site under Humic and Fulvic acid.
Yeah, go to the library, our Doc of Detox library.
Yes, and the ebook is documentation from published medical research on what the humic and the fulvic acid do.
So if I can make everybody, I want everybody to be really clear about this. That whole humic fulvic book that's in our library on Doc of Detox, in the Doc of Detox library, these are all scientific studies. It's not just he said, she said, right?
Right,
the whole thing
and
is filled with it.
And it hasn't been done with our humic and fulvic, but it's been done with humic acid and fulvic acid, and from all of our testing of other people sending us products and testing them, our humic and fulvic acid is far superior. So
why is that? Can't just say that. Why is that?
Why is that? Well, because of our extraction process. Our extraction process gives us, in the case of fulvic, gives us extra smaller molecules. If it's chemically extracted, they only get a certain size of molecule, and they don't get all what we get, and so.
And also, when it's chemically extracted, there's still chemical in it.
Yes.
There's no chemical in our product when it's done.
No.
Yes or no?
No.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no chemical left, and it's the only chemical that's used is potassium hydroxide. That's food grade, and it's used in the very beginning, and it's consumed in the initial separation process. From there, it's all purified water and screens and mechanical extraction. So, and then our source of humic acid is also plays a role in here. The tests that we've seen of humic and fulvic acid in the United States, they're actually toxic, a lot of them, and
2% of all the humic fulvic that's made is mechanically and physically produced, and 98% of it is chemically produced.
It's chemically
That's
extracted.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
giving a whole different product altogether. You don't. You can't put that stuff into your eyes, never mind into your mouth. I've had people call me up and say, "Oh, I read about fulvic acid and I ordered some from somebody else and I tried it to see if it helped my toothache, and it actually took the enamel off my teeth." Yeah. The stuff that's chemically extracted is so acidic that if they don't water it down, it will literally it'll harm you. And you can take our fulvic or humic and put it in your mouth, put it in your eyes. Really, it's that pure. And if it wasn't, you'd have problems, with your eyes or anywhere else you've put it.
yeah, I know. And you know what? I want everybody to get this. Between using the silver bullet spray and the fulvic eye drops, right here, the bright eyes, okay? I mean, you can believe it or not believe it, but we have people that it's reversing their cataracts, acute macular degeneration, floaters in the eye, pink eye. I can go on and on. And when you put this product in here, it's going behind the eye. If you've got problems in front, trust me, you've got problems in the back, right? People think that when you've got a cataract, you know how thick it is in the back? And then, so that's why you can even do an eye cup of the bright eye. Like you put an eye cup and you really wash it, and you might do it for like 30 or 40 seconds to really get in there, or even up to a minute to really get in there and get behind the eye, really wash things out. It's like this: the more damage there is to the tissue, the more you have to repeat things and do things, because the more support you have to give it. It's like the weaker something is, the more you have to use something to strengthen it. And this is what people don't get. When you take a look at a bottle and it tells you to do something, those are just barely maintenance dosages. So, and understand the other thing people always say is any of your products, can children take the products? Can pregnant women take the products? Anybody can take these products anytime. There are no limitations. So I want to put that one up to the side right away.
Yes. One of the things that I've been dealing with is people who have eye problems that have already had laser surgery, and now the doctors have them on these drops, and they all have side effects, and they're all causing problems. And
why don't you talk about your eye? Talk about your eye.
Well, a gentleman I was dealing with just the other night, I got him to get off of the because the eye drops he was taking, the chemical ones, were bothering him. So he stopped all of those and he went on the bright eyes. And he said immediately, with the next few days, he was feeling way better in his eyes. And I can tell you from my eye that I had a separated retina, and it was a number of years ago, like 5 years ago, that I learned that the fulvic acid can be used in the eyes, and actually I came across an ophthalmologist, Dr. Jerry Tennant, who put me onto that, and he had been an ophthalmologist for 30 years doing laser surgery, and once he got on to fulvic acid, he never did any more laser surgery, and he was just getting people to consume fulvic acid. And they were getting the same results of that they were doing with the laser surgery. So when you come to our level of product where you can actually put the fulvic in your eyes, we're having amazing results, absolutely amazing results. All ages of people, especially that was an elderly person the other night, 87 years old, that got off the eye drops from the prescription eye drops that were causing problems, and got onto the bright eyes, and there was no more. He doesn't have any more stress in his eyes. So
I'll tell you a true story. Her name is Ingrid, and she lives in Toronto. I'll tell you that much. I know she wouldn't mind me doing that. And I talked to her just yesterday, and there's been sickness in her family, a lot of stress in her family. And the only thing she did different was putting the bright eyes in her eyes. And she said that it calmed her brain down, calmed her down, calmed everything down. Because the Fulvic is so good at pulling inflammation out and locking it down. It's not like it doesn't try to rid the body of the inflammation. It sucks it up and fills it up with inflammation, whatever that be, heavy metals, chemicals, anything that's irritating. It takes it and fills itself up 3 times its weight. And when it does that, it locks itself down. So even though it's still not been removed, which it will be through sweating or urination or bowel movements, depending on how you took whatever you took the Fulvic, it's not going to bother you on the way out and create what we might call a little bit of a healing crisis.
Well, the other thing that's interesting in what you're saying, Darrell, is that the eyes are iridology. They can tell everything that's wrong with you from your eyes. So that means that your eyeball is connected to every part of your body.
Which means that it's just like your feet. So we actually have reflex points in our eyes. And when we start working with our eyes, we're working with other organs and other places of the body and reducing inflammation. So what it was doing was helping to bring down the inflammation in her brain. Okay?
Yes.
Now, I don't know, do you know Liquid Light? Fulvic minerals?
No,
okay,
not familiar.
So, Joanna, I don't know that product. Okay, and then Joe, does black gold have humic or fulvic or both?
It has both. It's actually that's the powder, the humic powder that we separate out both the humic and the fulvic out of, and it's still full of it. And so you get both the humic and the fulvic when you do the black gold. And the only other product that we have that has both in it is the Tummy Love, and that's in a concentrate. So yes, I hope that answers your question.
Aaron, I heard the term life crystals quite a bit. What exactly is that referring to?
Very good question. Very good question. The life crystals was a discovery by Dr. George Merkel, who did the very first successful cold fusion experiment for the Department of Energy, and 30 executives actually went on national television in the 70s and said, the energy crisis is all over. Now, he did that as a result of having figured out the free energy molecule in all living things, ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Then his greatest discovery was really discovering a way to extract that ATP molecule from substances that have a higher percentage of it. Fruit juices, tea, honey, coffee, in clear Pyrex tubes in the desert. George would distill that, a formula of that from spring till fall. And in the presence of sunlight, it starts to turn to alcohol, but the ultraviolet rays stop it from turning to alcohol, and that's how it actually pulls out that energy molecule. So you end up with, you don't end up with the fruit juices, tea, honey, and coffee. You end up with ATP and GTP and the 5 carbon sugars. And a 5 carbon sugar, very interesting, because we get lots of questions from people. Oh, I'm a diabetic. Can I actually? A 5 carbon sugar is recommended for diabetics.
Because it can actually, especially with adult onset diabetes, you'll see some miracles happen. Because it actually goes in there and it helps to restructure things.
Yes.
Yeah, it's no longer coffee. It's no longer caffeine. It's no longer sugar. And so it's called a 5 carbon sugar, which means it bypasses the Krebs cycle and goes right into the cells to do what it needs to do. Am I right or wrong?
That's correct. And
yeah,
and,
it's a miracle. It's a miracle. This stuff.
And the 5 carbon sugars in the structure, it very much resembles the DNA, and it is the perfect food for the DNA. So in the testimonials, and like George was working at one point had like 40 clinics and hospitals around the world using his product, and so the results of different diseases and symptoms for people, that came forward was amazing, because all the way back into the genetic thing, it does not mean what you think it means, because the life crystals have the ability to actually correct things back to birth, and we've had that. George had that, and we've had that as well. We've even had somebody with scoliosis correct their spine just doing the ATP. And
George, he had a really bad heart, and he was supposed to get actually a heart transplant, and by using the life crystals, he was able to actually. Would you like to tell them?
Oh, that's all. For the heart, that's the life crystals are amazing. Yeah, George had 3 open heart surgeries, and on his fourth heart attack, found himself in the hospital, and they were with lines coming out of him, and he pulled everything out and fired his doctor, and they said, oh, you'll die on the way home. He didn't die on the way home. He kept on taking the life crystals, and he rebuilt his heart. And that was documented. So the life crystals for the heart are like excellent. They're like second to none.
The most super concentrated sunshine and energy in an actual food molecule.
Yes, and it chelates heavy metals out of the veins, which in the case of heart problems, it's not cholesterol, it's heavy metals. And if you go to the research out of Russia, they took infrared, put it on the heart, and they were actually able to melt the heavy metals out of the veins. So the cholesterol thing is a misnomer.
Yeah. What we've done so often here is people will come in and we'll do a heart release. You know all about that. We use our elbow. It's a technique we use. And we go in and we actually pull all the scar tissue and loosen up all the crystallization around the heart area and use what's called an avicin. And we get them to use that like 4 times a day and get them on the Humic and Fulvic products. And we get them to do a proper diet and everything, and you can turn a heart around so fast, especially when you're using ATP and using like 2 eyedroppers full 5 times a day, because you really got to bring up that energy, because the body needs energy to heal, needs energy to detoxify. And that's why people that are sick, they're getting the bad end of the stick, because you need energy to heal, but when you're sick, you have no energy. So you got to use your head and figure out how you're going to get energy into that body. All right.
You know, that's a very good point right there, Darrell. Okay,
Yeah.
that's how I'm viewing everyone out there. Okay, is that if we can get the nutrients into their brains, then the people that seem to be mind controlled and in the fear of all of this, they will start to get more of their own intuition on it and understanding. But it really comes from having enough nutrition in your brain. And
well, to get that gut feeling back, you know, instead of reaction, okay, we respond in a proper way. I mean, if your gut is not healthy, then you're not healthy.
Absolutely. The health is in your gut.
How much humic is needed per day to keep you safe? This is Deborah. Hi, Deborah. Keep you safe from all viruses. How many dropperfuls? Okay, it was 2 questions. So do that one first. 1 tablespoon of humic.
A tablespoon,
right?
or probably 3 dropperfuls in 500 mils or
and then
16 ounces of water.
And then minimum a teaspoon of the Fulvic. Okay, and for children, okay, depending on their weight volume. Tummy Love is fabulous for children for doing that. And then you would go by weight, right? So let's say, go ahead.
And always, you know, especially with children, always observe them and how they're feeling. And you know, then from there you'll know whether to give them more or give them a little bit less. But, you know, the interaction with the patient is very, very important.
Yeah, and depending on how strong your immune system is how you're going to deal with everything in life, and depending on how much inflammation you have in your body. So when it comes to children, always think about enemas. When it comes to adults, always think about the ultimate coffee enema. Take a look in My Perfect Day, but think about a warm water enema with maybe aloe in it and some Tummy Love when it comes to a child, and watch the fever come down. Watch things turn so fast. And, you know, we threw that enema bag out a long time ago. I think we better dig it out again. She also wants to know what would be the dosage for ATP. Well, it all depends on, again, whether or not if you're healthy or whether you need support.
Oh, yes. You can't do too much of the ATP, the life crystals.
Now, but just make it really clear, everyone. ATP, we have a product called ATP Plus, which really targets boosting the ATP. We have another one called Divine Vine, which targets the thyroid and moods and hormones, right?
Yep.
And then we have another one, that pineal, and that's for things like dementia or just wanting more brain power, or when the pineal gland is calcified. Things that I'll let you take it away.
Well, the one of the things that's going on today with the pineal, okay, is all the electromagnetic, the microwave radiation. It's stopping the production of melatonin and from the pineal. So if people are having problems sleeping, then the ATP is a good place to start, because it actually will correct brain damage.
If you can bring your energy back, then you can bring back balance. And if you bring back balance, that means you can sleep properly. People that come home and they go, oh my God, I'm having trouble sleeping. I've got sleep apnea. I've got to do this. I got to do that. I got to hook a machine up to me. I mean, these people have blown their nervous system out, okay? And the reality is they're totally exhausted, but they can't sleep, okay? And then their breathing, again, we know that there's lung problems. And when you usually get lung problems, you know you have a bowel problem and a liver problem. You've backed up everywhere. Go ahead.
Yes, and the ATP, the life crystals. Okay, our ATP is there's nothing like it in the world, because it's not just, like I was saying earlier, it's not just ATP. It's ATP, GTP, and the 5 carbon sugars. It is it's a miracle that we actually have that available at this time. And George said that if it regrows everything in the body, but including and especially brain cells. And so if you start taking the life crystals, it will improve your brain function and actually raise your intelligence and your consciousness. And with that being said, when you start to be, get that function back, then the choices that you have, and you'll get more on your own when your pineal is working. And people have been cut off from the fluoride, has cut off people from the connection to their soul. The pineal is called the seat of the soul. And so why do we have so many psychopaths in the world?
Why are so many psychopaths running the world? That would be the better question.
Well, that's a good question as well. But the psychopaths is somebody who doesn't have a conscience. The conscience is in the soul, and if you're cut off from your soul, then you could do anything.
I think you just answered the question. So and understand something, everyone. As far as I'm concerned, you're not alive if you're not growing consciously. Understand that. That's the only way you can grow on this planet is consciously. And you want to be developing consciously. And that is the one thing every day that I wake up and I just go, let me expand. Let me expand consciously. Let me bring up my vibration. Let me be able to really feel what it's like to be a spirited being.
Well, on that, I just have to say for most people, if you haven't made a connection to your higher self, because everybody has one, a higher part of you. Number one thing, if you want to make that connect, stop drinking alcohol. Alcohol is a dissociative. It disassociates you from something. What could that be? From the soul, from the self. And so why is alcohol promoted? Okay, because
why do you think
it fits with the ego control of the body and the lack of soul consciousness. So we have an opportunity here to really for people to connect with their soul.
And if I can say something to finish up on this, as far as the alcohol goes, as far as smoking goes, as far as any addiction goes, ATP is unbelievable for addiction. Unbelievable for addiction. Check that one out, everyone.
Well, the reason being, okay, is that when you start to make especially the pineal, when the pineal starts to work again, you can make that soul connection. You'll start having dreams you didn't have. You'll start getting messages from those other parts of yourself. But if you're cut off up here, you're flying blind. And what did even Jesus say? Let thine eye be single.
All right. Thank you, Joshua. Hi, is there a difference between black gold and liquid humic acid? I am taking black gold and the liquid fulvic acid.
Yes. Well, the fulvic, first of all, is, like I was explaining earlier, the fulvic and the humic are both extracted out of that black gold powder.
And that's a real concentrate. And with the black gold, that's mainly for your digestive tract, because you're taking it and orally. It stays mainly in the digestive tract. But when it gets to the large intestine, it makes for a really good environment for your bacteria to live on and feed off of. Okay? So that's what we're looking at. And as the black gold goes through, it's cleaning up the digestive tract, where the fulvic acid and the humic acid, therefore more going into your system, into your cells, into your bloodstream. Correct, Joshua?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Also, the other thing on the black gold, it's excellent to use in cooking and in baking.
Put it in your soups.
Because it improves the flavor. The best tasting foods are the most nutritious foods. So the humic acid is nutrition. With humic, you're adding nutrition. So
otherwise, the black gold.
Yeah.
So when you add the black gold, Katia, besides Tummy Love, do any of your other products contain humic and fulvic? Also, if we are using Tummy Love, how much additional humic and fulvic should we add to our daily cleansing tea? Well, I'll tell you. Do you want to take it? Okay. I think it's like this. If you believe, okay, first of all, when I said Tummy Love for children, because they're not full of heavy metals, they're not as toxic as adults. So I tell clients, patients that come to me that they should do Tummy Love, but they should also put the Fulvic in their drinking water and take an extra shot of Humic. And then depending on the level of your health will depend on how much you need. Remember, you got a 20-foot hole, 20-foot ladder, 10-foot hole, 10-foot ladder. And that's why I said Tummy Love is enough for somebody really healthy. And if you're doing a tablespoon a day, then you're in lockdown. You're great. So if you take a tablespoon for an adult, at 150 pounds, what would you give a child if a child was 50 pounds? Well, it would be 1/3 of that, right?
Yeah. So I do have to say that the Tummy Love would be the choice in here for everyone, really.
I'm just saying that extra Humic, if your hormones are right out of balance.
Yep.
Or if you have viral problems, and then extra Fulvic if you're trying to do a heavy metal cleanse,
yep.
Okay? Or if you're so acidic, you're crystallizing, you got all kinds of scar tissue, okay? You're always feeling in pain. Well, you better then jack that up.
Yep, yeah, you got it. You hit it right on the head, Darrell. That's,
do you want to add to it?
Well, like I say, for myself, because we are dealing with ongoing Fukushima that nobody's talking about. The levels of nuclear radiation are just as high as they were 9 years ago when Fukushima started. It hasn't stopped, and it's not going to lessen, folks. And so,
well, it's like everything else.
When somebody says like the lady earlier that my dog has no energy, okay. Well, when I go outside, I don't have any energy because I've been exposed to the nuclear a couple of times, so I think I'm more sensitive. But I've got more energy inside the house. When you go outside and you're actually breathing the nuclear, it actually interferes with your mitochondrial production of ATP. And so when you're outside, you could have a whole lot less energy. If you're trying to exercise outside and you think, oh my God, it's so hard. Well, really, that's why it's so hard, because you're sucking in nuclear radiation and it's killing your mitochondria production.
It's like everything else. You know what? This is why everybody's locked in the house, because what happens is we have a new scare. Everybody gets scared, and then they get busy and they go back to doing their work, and the scare's never gone. It's still there. We never deal with it. You know what happens when you don't deal with problems in your relationship? Well, you get divorced, don't you? Or it's a really bumpy ride. You know, there's some smooth spots and then it's bumpy. Understand something. It's going to be bumpy for the rest of our lives if we allow what's going on to keep going on. And that is that there's nobody guarding the hen house. And the government only works for corporations. They really don't work for us, but whatever. If you need to believe that, that's good. If you need to sleep tonight, you can believe in that. But the reality is this: we, the people, must come together, and we are the majority. And the reality is this: is that we've got to not just try to push things aside or push them under the bed or forget about them. We need to have things dealt with. It's like, you know how couples will not deal with their problems and then they end up not being a couple anymore, but they still live in the same house. Can we go on to another question? What would black gold do for dogs?
Oh, excellent. Doggies, kitties, all your pets require the humic acid. Mix it in their food, and it has no taste. And we used to feed a bunch of wild kitties, feral cats outside, and we'd mix it in their food, and sometimes you'd get some on the plate. They would even lick it right off of the plate by itself. The animals know what's good for them.
Good.
And yeah, excellent.
Lots of black gold. I'll tell you, we've got dogs, horses, cats. I mean, I could tell you so many stories from everything from arthritis to cancer to breathing problems, and even just with the black gold.
Yeah, the black gold can completely do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been fortunate enough to be able to devise some extraction processes here to give us the best fulvic and a humic concentrate. But really, the black gold, if you get on that, and if somebody's got a budget constraint, you get on that. I mean, really, you can turn your life around, and you can turn your pet's life around with the black gold. It is. People used to call up and say, "Oh, the miracle powder. Do you have any of that miracle powder?"
Chris, do we produce humic naturally?
Naturally.
Never heard of that.
Well, the where the humic and the fulvic comes from is ancient decayed plant material, and so we buy that, and then, like I say, we use an initial potassium hydroxide separation, where the chemical in that is used up just in the process, and then from there we use purified water and screens to separate it into.
He's asking if we produce humic naturally in the body. No.
Oh, in the body? No. Oh, I didn't understand.
No, we don't. And next question, okay? Are the life crystals an actual product, or just what George produced from the sun? Well, they're a natural product by using the natural products that he would put in the tubes by utilizing the sun, and then tell them the process. If you don't,
yeah, he created photosynthesis in the tubes, and so the life crystals are way more than ATP, and underneath a sophisticated microscope that George had, the life crystals is a pyramid in shape. So it's a focalizing lens. It takes light and focalizes it and makes it turns it into coherent light, and brings it into what you could call a unified order, and the life crystals offer us the opportunity to bring our organs into a unified order, and to actually create a life of unified order. We've never had this
unification.
Had this before of being able to, have to be able to bypass the Krebs cycle. I mean, really, if you the more of the life crystals you do, the less food you need to eat. And we've had lots of people over the years tell us exactly that. And when you use that in combination with, say, the humic, which is bioavailable nutrition, people say, "Oh God, I don't hardly need to eat anything anymore, and I've got so much energy."
Well, I do one meal a day now, but I do like my lemon cayenne and honey. I do 2 quarts of Fulvic and Tummy Love, and I do carrot juice. But the reality is I have 1 meal a day. Okay, so let's move on to, here we go. One of the listed benefits, Katia, thank you. One of the listed benefits for Fulvic is increasing body voltage. What does this mean? Is it referring to increasing one's level of energy? Well, that's like it charges up your mitochondria. It gets your mitochondria to work better, like Joshua was just explaining. So yes, it brings up your vibration. It brings up your energy. It brings up your mood. It brings up the power to detoxify at the cell level. And if you take a look at everything, the large intestine is all cells. So if we got every one of the cells in the large intestine to detoxify better, then peristalsis happens better. If we get all the cells to work better in the liver, then we know that we detoxify the blood more efficiently. It's like whatever the organ does, it helps to increase the production of what that organ's supposed to do.
And on that note, ATP is known as the signaler, and it's involved in signaling right from the taste buds in your mouth, telling your stomach what acids to produce for the food that's coming down there, and then when it's down in the stomach, it gets further messages from there to up to your brain, and so the ATP signaling in this is very
critical. And when you don't have ATP signaling, that means you have a disease. And that means the body can no longer communicate properly. So if you're actually able to bring up the ATP and you start the communication again, you get everybody back to work. Joyce, are these to be used the rest of your life, or can you revamp your life and balance your body and do less as you heal? Can I say something? You know what? It's like a person that hasn't eaten right and they're about maybe 50 pounds, 60 pounds overweight. They're going to have to really dig in, aren't they? They're going to have to get on the perfect day diet, do the coffee enema, get their bowels moving properly, drink structured water, the deeper the hole, the harder it is to get out. Once you get yourself out of the hole and you're at ground level, then you can maintain. Of course, you can bring everything down, right? The problem is people don't take enough or do enough to be able to accomplish what they need to. And that's the critical point.
Well, and ultimately, the only reason that we have health food today is because of the chemical farming that was introduced, and so the humic and the fulvic acid, in order to be bioavailable for the plants, it needs microbes in the soil. The chemical farming has killed the microbes. So where we used to have humic and fulvic naturally in our diet, we're subsidizing it now with what we have. But ultimately, we need to go back to growing the most nutritious food so that we don't even have to think about nutrients. And we can do that.
And for that, you would have to dismantle corporate America. But for that, you'd have to make sure that you don't have people telling you that you have to hide in your house. Okay. All right, Val, do you have to water the fulvic down, or can you apply it straight from the bottle, like the fulvic acid concentrate? You're not going to take it straight, no.
Well, you can.
You can.
You can. It's you can put it right into your mouth. You'll see. But because the fulvic needs the water for the cell, and to be able to do the detox, to be able to to energize it. But you can put it directly in your mouth. In fact, it's a great way to see what it's about, because if you put other products in your mouth and like other fulvic
or humic,
fulvic or humic, and there's an aftertaste, then that tells you that there's chemicals. There's no aftertaste with our humic or fulvic. It's very easy to put into water because.
But Joshua, the best way to take it is to mix it with structured water.
Yes.
Because it has no surface tension. You're going to get more bang for your dollar, and you're going to allow your body to assimilate it. And you know what? Do you like it when somebody gives you too much work all at once, or would you like it to just come at you that you can process better? What do you think?
Yeah. No. It's. Definitely the understanding of how to take your power with all of this, how to utilize all of these so that you're healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Joyce, can we put the black gold in our drinking water? You know what? It doesn't mix well. You want to put it in a blender drink. You want it like Joshua said.
You can, but in the beginning, that's how we started. We just started stirring it in.
But you're going to have to really.
It's hard to emulsify, but you can get it to emulsify. The other thing that we did in the beginning, because we were just experimenting, we'd take a whole teaspoon, turn it upside down in our mouth, and then drink water. So there's many ways that you can take it, but it's like get it in you.
Well, I'm just a prima donna. I'm not going to do that. I don't like to do that kind of stuff. And also, I don't want to be there stirring forever. So I put it in my blender drink. I would put it in my soups. You can use it for baking, but I'm not that kind of guy.
Yeah, no. For most people, it's
no.
Exactly what you're saying, and that's the thing with the powder. It's so fine that it really goes everywhere if you're not careful with it. So putting it into smoothies and that is excellent, or in soups.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that it's amazing with is chocolate. Cocoa is the very best antioxidant in the world. It is light years ahead of anything else, except humic acid comes in on a second. So when you put the two of those together, you have a super antioxidant. Plus, if you don't, it'll bring out.
Plus,
It'll actually bring
it's
out
going
the
to taste
flavor.
great. It tastes great.
It adds the flavor to the chocolate. Yeah.
Lori, what would help sleep-deprived shift workers, emergency service, high stress? Well, right off the bat, when you're doing that, you definitely want to be drinking a lot of Tummy Love throughout the day.
I got it. That's what I got too. Yeah.
A lot of Tummy Love. You want to be doing it. It's worth the money. And I'm saying a lot. I'm saying that I would be doing, anywhere from a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons with every quart of water.
Now, somebody asked earlier about the...
And ATP. And if you have trouble sleeping, because the energy you build, you're going to sleep at night. People with no energy, do you ever notice something? People with no energy don't sleep. Okay? They don't sleep. People that have energy, I'm not talking about caffeine energy. I'm talking about calm, really good energy. I honestly, I could lay down and sleep anywhere, anytime. That is a peaceful mind and somebody with energy. Okay? Now, if you have trouble sleeping because of your mind, it's this one, Divine Vine. That's the one to do.
Yes.
Because it helps the thyroid, to balance the thyroid, and it helps to balance the moods. Okay.
It's also a good adaptogen, and so it helps to make more nutrients available to you. But in the beginning, the Divine Vine, this was our first product, and some people were actually calling it Happy Juice. And one lady who owned a health food store said, Joshua, you know what I'm finding with this? It's taking people out of a depression they didn't know they were in. Now, how about that?
Well, there's
really now that comes back to the little story that I had that you don't know where you've been until you come back.
I have a doctor that sells a lot of it, and the Divine Vine, and he calls it the divorce saver. Anyways, John, if herd immunity was forced compliance, how much fulvic acid would you need to take to bio-remediate the vaccines?
Oh, you're going to have to drink it
But hold on. I want you to answer that. But John, thanks for the question. But do you understand something? How many people live in this country? And we have a couple organizations that are going to force 400 million people in this country to actually get vaccinated. Think about this time in history where we're actually saying, if I'm forced to have a vaccine that I don't want, that is toxic probably, that's never been tested, what can I do?
So here we come.
What a mess.
Here we come to the crux of the problem. Okay, is that the real law, our people's law called common law, has to do with damage, and interesting, the Hippocrates oath that the doctors used to take, they don't even take it anymore, says first thing, do no harm.
They took do no harm right out of the oath. Yeah.
Yeah. So the fact is that we don't have any law right now. Okay, and that's why they can do forced vaccinations, because number one, they would never be able to do that if we had the people's law, which is do no harm, because they can't prove that the vaccines don't do harm. They do harm, and so they're breaking the law. They're breaking God's laws right there. Okay, and for anyone who is on the fence over vaccinations, just come back to that point of do no harm. Why do not the doctors swear that famous Hippocratic oath? First thing, do no harm. Because the drug and chemical companies which are running this world, everything they have does harm. And if the law was brought back, they'd be shut down overnight. There wouldn't be a one of them that would be able to produce their poisons, because they're all poisons and can be documented.
Yeah.
And so this is an opportunity. This whole thing is an opportunity for everybody to wake up. The question's got to go through a lot of people's heads. How did we get here?
Well, what do you say? Until you wake up, you'll never know you were asleep. Okay, Amanda, can you use Fulvic if you have inflammation in your eyes or the bright eyes? Is it the same thing? Always feels like I have sand in my eyes and itchy. No, you've got to use the bright eyes. You're not going to go use the Fulvic, okay? if you take a look at it, the Fulvic is too thick. You're not going to do that. The Bright Eyes is the only formula, I think, of its kind probably in the world. And look at this. It's clear. If you can see it, it's clear in there. All right? And
well, the understanding of the Fulvic is determined, the quality of the Fulvic is determined by the size of the molecule. And so the eye drop formula, the molecules are 5 times smaller than our standard Fulvic. I mean, you can put the standard Fulvic in your eye, and we did in the beginning. I certainly did, because until we developed this formula, but this formula sets us really distances us from you know.
And the thing is we want the nano Fulvic. Why? Because it goes deeper. The smaller it is, the deeper it can go.
More penetration, yes.
More penetration, all right? Can you mix Tummy Love and Fulvic together?
Well, Tummy Love it has Fulvic in it with the Humic. So if
but
you want to add, if you want to take Fulvic separately and take that separately, that's fine. You can mix the two together as well if you like as well, because it just means you're going to have more Fulvic in there, doing a little more detox.
Good. Stan from YouTube. Hi, Stan. How's it going, buddy? I have neuropathic pain, and I understand that ATP is the pain signaler. Will ATP help to relieve my pain that the doctors say is in my head?
If the pain has come from an injury, yes, it will help correct that. If the pain is there because you have microwave poisoning, which comes from an accumulation of too much of all the microwave technology that we have, then it might help, but it won't necessarily get rid of it. Because what they're finding now is that from the microwave pollution, you can have the exact same symptoms as if you were.
That's EMF, everyone. That doesn't mean your microwave. It means EMF. Okay?
Yeah. Very, very good point. Very good point.
Anyways, they're finding. Go ahead, Joshua. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no. So the understanding that if your symptoms don't go away, try turning your Wi-Fi off at night. Try turning your phone off at night. Try turning it all off at night.
Get rid of your clock radio. Get rid of your house walk around phone. There's lots of things. Check out my Healthy to 100 book. Everything is in there. Okay, on that. It's called. It's the chapter in there. What the cell is going on. Susan from Facebook. I have molecular degeneration in one eye, and I am wondering if the elixirs with life crystals will stop the degeneration and regenerate my eyesight. You got to go to the Bright Eyes and then take a look at the silver bullet spray, and then also take a look if it's affordable. Look up Bioptron on our website. But do you want to talk to her about ATP and about her eyes?
Yes. Well, the ATP is the signaler, but also ATP is directly involved in the rods and cones, which are the light sensors in your eyes. And so if your eyes aren't getting enough ATP, then that alone can create the macular degeneration, because you're
and that's why it's so bad today. That's why it's so bad.
It comes from being too toxic.
Yeah,
you're so toxic and that's where the macular degeneration. The biggest place that's coming from now is what they're saying is diabetes. Okay, but again.
But the blue light poisoning from all the blue light and inflammatory diet, and understand something. Your brain would rather give you eye diseases than it be damaged. And that's happening a lot right now. Because remember something, everything comes through the eyes and then to the brain.
Yes.
So the brain is actually going to cause damage in your eyes to protect itself.
And I'll just give you a little note on that myself, as far as stopping the degeneration and regenerating, because this eyeball here, I've been blind in since 2002, and I'm seeing out of it now. It's starting to work as a real eye, and I'm using the eye drops, and I'm using the life crystals in
the ATP.
in the elixirs, and I do a combination of those. I do ATP, and I do Divine Vine, and I do
pineal.
and I do pineal. I have one bottle of each, and I rotate them. I mean, we do. My associate and I do a little 1 ounce shooter of that every morning, and so we just change it around, but it's very essential in keeping your energies high and clear.
Judy from Intercom, will the ATP help strengthen my immune system to resist the coronavirus? Which is causing the pandemic, hysteria. Well, yeah, it will, but I think we've kind of answered it, right?
Yep.
Okay. Mary from Facebook, I have high blood pressure. Will ATP help to correct this condition?
Oh, ATP is directly involved in the the red blood cells.
And also, if you're using the ATP and the Fulvic together, it's that's called the deadly duel for that, because that Fulvic is going to bring down the acidity, which is really the underlying cause, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Ralph from YouTube, I would like to try your elixirs, and I'm concerned about the sugar. No, we already talked about that. The sugar content from the fruit juices, and I'm a diabetic. Are the elixirs safe for diabetics to take? You know what, my friend Ralph, we already answered it, but do you want to add to that?
I'll just add to that early on when we were starting the company, we had a native guy that got married, and he had diabetes, and because my associate Gwen had also had diabetes, she had a testing thing, and so we were testing him, and he'd gone out the night he went out and got married, and he had a couple of drinks, so he came in, his count was way high, and he took some Divine Vine, and it came down right before our eyes when he did a new test. So the life crystals in the elixirs will correct the diabetes and actually strengthen you, bring you back out of those high readings.
And just so you know, 80% of the population of North America has pre-diabetes, so they're just on the edge of getting it. So this is why this virus and every other bacteria is just having a field day with us, because our vibration is so low. And the lower you vibrate, the closer you are to the vibration of the virus that says, honey, I'm home. Come on, jump on in and just have your way with me. All right.
Just to add on the Divine Vine, because it's specially formulated to take the haloids out of the thyroid. The thyroid is a master hormone governor, and the haloids have the same number of outer electrons, so that is fluoride, bromine, and chlorine, have the same number of outer electrons as the iodine receptor site. And so if they capture the iodine receptor site, then they short circuit the thyroid. And there's lots of research that says that the diabetes, if you didn't have that happen, you wouldn't even have diabetes. So when they capture that your thyroid, then you head off into one of the alphabet soup diseases. Could be diabetes, could be MS, depending on your DNA. And the particular chemical cocktail you've collected in your body will depend on where it goes.
Very good. Jenny from YouTube. Jenny, will make this kind of quick, not trying to cut you off here, but I have floaters in my eyes. Will the Fulvic eye drops correct this? We talked about this already, right?
Yes. And for most people, it does correct it. If you've had eye surgery, like for cataracts and whatever, okay, then it can be a little slower in the correction, but it will correct it.
Yeah, and just maybe kick in the silver bullet, kick in the Bioptron light, check that out. But really, it's all about also cleansing your colon and flushing out your liver. The liver, hey, buddy?
Yep.
Yeah,
the liver is critical to all of this because it's on overload.
Look at the ultimate coffee enema, where you use Tummy Love and you use black gold to do the most powerful coffee enema, most powerful enema you're ever going to do. Murray from Facebook, will humic acid being nature's most powerful antibiotic, stop the coronavirus. We got a lot of this coming in, guys. Some of this stuff we're not going to get into too deep. Why are we having a pandemic when we have humic and fulvic acid? Well, that because people aren't using it, and it's not just that. It's not
people don't know about it.
But it's not just about the humic and the fulvic why we're having it. It's because we haven't paid attention. We haven't paid attention to our lives, and we haven't held the line. When you learn to love, honor, respect, protect, and love yourself first and foremost, but guess what? Nobody ever thinks about themselves first and foremost because we've been taught by systems that it's selfish to look after yourself first. Well, look where that's gotten us. You should be looking after yourself and protecting yourself, respecting yourself, and honoring yourself so that you can show that to your family. And if everybody did that, we'd be holding the line. Carol from Intercom. I am having menopausal symptoms, including hot flashes. Will humic and fulvic help my condition?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in fact, many countries don't even have a term for menopause because some of the third world countries, people weren't exposed to the level of chemicals that we got exposed to.
You can't have menopause unless your hormones are out of balance, and you can't have hormones out of balance unless you're toxic. And you know what? Everybody wants to talk about hormones with menopause, and it's not. It's inflammation. It's toxicity. And if you straighten out if you bring down your toxic load and get rid of inflammation, you wouldn't have hormonal problems.
Absolutely.
But everybody wants to talk about hormones, whether it's the natural health industry or whether it's the pharmaceutical industry, because guess what? As long as we only deal with the hormones, we're never getting to the root cause. And that's the bottom line. Irene from Facebook, I am pregnant. Is it safe to take humic and fulvic acid while I'm pregnant?
Absolutely. In fact, I would recommend it.
I would say do it.
Because every mommy today is toxic. And something I learned from another interview that you'd done with, I think it was Andrew Wakefield, the mother's natural immunity, okay, which is in the mama's first milk, the colostrum. If that mother's been vaccinated, okay, prior to that, she doesn't have the same immunity to pass on to her baby. And so if you've lived in this toxic world and you're pregnant, you can correct some of that even while you're pregnant, because the fulvic is the only really safe detox in this sense, because it will alter the ionic form of the toxins so they can be safely detoxed. You don't, you know, if you've already got heavy metals in your system, then getting them out safely is the secret, and that's the fulvic. And the humic provides the best nutrients, bioavailable nutrients. The taking calcium and you don't have to do that if you have bioavailable nutrients and your cells are working properly. And when the mama gets pregnant, then you have all that extra immune stuff that kicks in the mommy's body.
Do you know where they found more dinosaur bones than anywhere else? In Alberta. Do you know where our humic fulvic comes from? Alberta. Okay, and what we're talking about is we're talking about the prehistoric food that dinosaurs lived off of, all right? Mm-hmm. So the vibratory level of that back how long ago? Well, it was a while.
Yeah, and the nutrient content, it wasn't all depleted like it is now. So it's amazing that nature gave us this gift for this time to share with everyone, and that's really what it's about. We're just trying to share it with everyone so that everybody can, become healthy like we are.
Lori, will any of these products correct damaged tissue from brain injury?
The pineal is number one for that, and I can say that from myself when I created the pineal formula. And I created it for a different reason than brain repair, but for me, that was my experience when I took it. Was it was repairing 3 brain damages I didn't even know that I had so serious, and yes, the pineal The life crystals, even in the ATP, we had that lady in Russia who had an icicle fall from the fourth floor, hit her and split her skull
Right.
open, and they rushed her to hospital in a coma. And her friend had a little bottle of ATP Plus, gave it to the mother, said put 3 drops in her mouth 3 times a day. And when the neurosurgeon came around, he was blown away because there was no permanent brain damage. So the life crystals is the secret in there. Okay, in any one of our elixirs, you're gonna have an opportunity for brain repair. But the pineal has been specifically formulated for that.
Beautiful. Here we go. William from Facebook. I checked out your ebook in the Doc of Detox library called Humic and Fulvic acid, and I was impressed with the documented research on humic and fulvic acid, especially their antiviral properties. It seems to me that if everyone was on humic acid, there would be no pandemic. Well, I don't know about that, but I'll tell you one thing. That's why we sell it, because guess what? The reality is that there's always going to be bugs. There's always bugs. Bugs in the house and bugs outside.
Well, that's what George Merkel said. He said, "We live in a constant war. We have an army of viruses and an army of bacteria, and we have our immune system. Our immune system keeps all of that at bay. So if your immune system gets compromised, then those start to come in, and that's." I think I've covered this in an earlier interview, but I'll touch base on it again. But the Black Plague that happened in England, that they make such a big deal about, those people were living in a certain level of filth and squalor. But it happened 2 years after the introduction of white sugar. And so
Bingo.
it dropped their immune
system. Don't ever
system.
forget that. And guess what, everybody? All right, I'm going to tell you something right now. You know what? Most of the pandemics back then, they were, you know why they actually turned them around? It was because of the plumber, not the doctor, because it was mainly because of sewage.
Yeah, they'd been living, their immune system had become strong
Thank
enough
God
to
for the
live
doctors too, but understand something. It's all about sewage, whether it's outside your door or whether it's inside your tummy.
Inside your stomach, yeah.
Yeah. Number 12, Henrietta from YouTube. I'm taking the fulvic acid, feeling more energy and mental clarity, and I'm wanting to increase the dosage. Is there a safe amount of fulvic that I can take? Well, I don't think there's an unsafe one.
Well, again, it just depends on the person and how toxic you are. If you've never done any detox and you're super toxic, then you're going to want to start slowly. But if you're not super toxic and you're a young person, you can most likely take as much as you like. Always listen to your body. That's a part of the teaching that the doc brings you here. It is taking your power by
gentle baby steps. Be gentle on yourself when you start. Put your toe in the water, because these are very high vibrational products. And then you're going to take it, I'm allergic. I mean, you're not allergic. Nobody's allergic to these products. You're allergic to life. You can't introduce that much life into you. So you got to do it.
On light.
Light. Yeah, you got it. Okay. Lydia from Facebook. My son was diagnosed with ADHD. Which of the products would you recommend for my son to start taking? Thank you so much, Joshua and Dr. Wolfe. There you go.
Well, I would start him on number one on the Fulvic, because it's detox, and again we come right away to the Tummy Love because he needs the nutrients. I mean, that's the Tummy Love brings it all together, because again, going back to that question of why did we make two separate things, because the Fulvic, when it's by itself, is heavy duty detox. But the Fulvic also carries in up to 60 elements and minerals, but the Fulvic isn't minerals. It's in a what I call a quantum state. It's no longer minerals. So when you combine it with the humic, then it has the ultimate nutrients to bring into the cell. So So the Tummy Love, you know, had it takes care of both of those, you know, in a very unique way.
Beautiful. Nancy. Hey, Nancy, how you doing? My dad has heart failure. Can he take ATP?
Oh, recommended. The ATP for the heart is like number one. First of all, for chelating the toxins out of the veins, and secondly for providing energy and nutrients for the heart to correct itself.
Yeah, it gives it the energy and it helps to balance and heal the mitochondria because, like we said, everywhere where there's tissue damage, there's mitochondrial damage first. Okay? Robert from Intercom, why? Okay, I have read in many bodybuilding books that humic acid is called the bodybuilder's secret. Why is this?
Well, because it's number one, it's bioavailable nutrition. And that's and then the fact that it balances the hormones, okay, because of the nutrition, you whatever you require for the hormone, it'll take it. Humic acid will take flab and turn it into muscle. That's the beauty of it, and that's why it's called the bodybuilder's secret, because it'll put
just kidding.
It'll
Okay. So anyways, we're getting near the end. We've only got a few more questions. So if anybody's sitting on the fence and you want to ask a question of myself or Joshua, please go right ahead, okay? All right? Because we've got like 3 more questions left here. John from Facebook, how long must we have the humic acid in our system before it starts to protect us?
Oh, it pretty well happens immediately. The products work exceptionally well. So that's why we were just saying about taking it easy in the beginning, because they work, and so you're going to feel it, pretty well immediately. Especially if if you have a condition, you'll feel the results immediately. You should.
Very good. Cheryl from Facebook, can you rebuild the mitochondria to reverse anaphylaxis, allergic reaction to peanuts? I don't know about that. I'm sure it would help. I'm sure that, okay.
Well, okay.
I'm sure it would help.
If once you understand that, this comes into the immune system.
But never heard of it yet.
Understanding how the immune system works. Okay, and we touched a little bit on this the other day, that the immune system is based on production of stem cells. And so the stem cells that are produced by the bone marrow, okay, they produce also immature B cells. Those B cells go to the thymus where they're matured, and they're turned into antibody emitting plasma cells. And so any if you have allergies, it's because it's not doing that, because it counters the antibodies. So if your immune system is compromised, then you have all these other symptoms. But as you strengthen the immune system, it can overcome all of the allergies.
And whether we want to believe it or not, it is an immune system problem with this whole peanut thing. It is. It came along. And the problem is that, corporations, and again, I know I keep going out there after them, but they're allowed to add anything to the environment. So when they add something new to the environment, it becomes a whole new soup mix, and then it creates more new problems. If you start pulling these chemicals out of the environment, look at how diseases are going to leave. You know what? We're the sickest we've ever been. We're the sickest nation in the world. Holy crap.
Yeah,
in all of history, we've never been sicker. I mean, you know what? If this coronavirus never came along right now, people would just walk around and, there's people out there that they don't have a 35-inch waist. They have a 70 or a 90-inch waist. Okay? We're wasting away. We're eating ourselves to death, and we eat anything. You know what? I mean, do you see some of the foods they bring out now? I mean, it's like, what's that one thing? It's waffles and chicken. I don't know what the heck. It's like the craziest food. And because we're so emotionally dysfunctional, we will eat anything to suppress our emotions. And how's that working? Remember something. The only way that you can truly grow is consciously. And if you're going to grow physically, and you know what corporations are doing now? I'm sorry if I'm spouting off, but you can walk into a mall and big is beautiful. Let me tell you something. Everybody is beautiful, but being big, you're diabetic, heart disease, high blood pressure. I mean, I could go, the list never ends, does it?
No.
Never ends.
No.
You have a shortened lifespan. You're feeling sick most of the time. You know what? This had to happen. That's all I'm going to say. Sandra from Facebook. Would drinking the Humic and Fulvic in warm to hot water be okay, or does it lessen the effectiveness of the products? No, and it would be amazing right now. Everybody out there, just by, you know what? You should be drinking something warm, even closer to hot, every 20 minutes. Keep the mucus moving. Don't let any mucus pile up in your mouth or in your digestive tract. Let's get the mucus out. And that's why I keep telling everybody, make sure you get the cork out of your butt and do the daily cleansing tea right now. Keep your bowels moving. Don't back up that mucus, because that's what it is. It's like, you ever see those things that used to hang and the flies would come along and they'd stick to them?
Yep.
Okay, well, that's what it's like. If you're going to let the mucus stick in there, those bugs will stick to it. All right, what do you want to say about that? Or did I say enough?
Well, the humic, actually, when you put the humic in hot water, it like, or coffee, it actually stretches out what's called the polymolecule, so it's a little more active.
I didn't even know that.
But the fulvic isn't quite as doesn't quite like the heat as much as the humic, but it's okay.
Does it hurt it?
If it was boiling water, yeah. It's not the best to put it in.
There you go.
That's why the humic though actually does better. So
okay, well, and right now that's the perfect thing.
Yeah,
the humic and the hot water. Boom.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I got humic in my lemon, honey, and cayenne. Right. Just I put it in all day long. I make today I made 40 ounces like I do every day. I boil 40 ounces of water. I got the thermos right over here. And I stick honey, lemon, cayenne, and I put the humic in. It brings the flavor up, and it does what it's supposed to do. All right. So here's our last question, I think. Let me just check here and make sure. Yeah. Good. This is our last question. Laura from Facebook. I have chronic herpes. Which humic products would you recommend for relief?
The humic, whether it's the concentrate or the powder, and early on when I put the powder into a bag, I was doing a demo at Nature's Fair here in Kelowna, and a lady was doing a demo in the table next to me, and she was demoing a different product, and she heard my spiel about the humic stopping herpes and different viruses, and she came over and said, boy, if your herpes if your humic could stop my herpes, I would be forever your customer. And she bought a bag of it was still in the bag then, and it was like 400 grams, I think. And when I saw her next time,
you're talking about the black gold.
The black gold, yeah.
Yeah, black gold, everybody. Okay. All
yeah,
right.
and so the next time I saw this lady, she came over to my table and she said, well, it did it. It stopped my herpes. I got no more herpes, she says, but the side effect was that I lost 30 pounds. Now I have to buy a new wardrobe.
And this is what happens when you're the acid queen. When you're the acid queen, that means that you're inflamed, okay? So when you're highly acidic, you're going to have inflammation, and that means your body's going to create fat cells to store the acidity, because if it doesn't, because, the reason why we grow out like this is because the more acidity we have, more inflammation we have, the more fat cells we need. And the reality is, if we didn't do that, we would have a heart attack, stroke, tumors. I mean, it would just be one heck of a mess. So the reality is when you start taking the black gold, you're reducing the acidity, you're reducing the inflammation, so you do not no longer need all these extra luggage racks to store everything, so they get to go, all right? And because you're reducing the toxic load, reducing the acidity, it's goodbye herpes. You know, I can remember when I was in college, and I would go to this graveyard to study. And one day I went out there to study, and I fell asleep, and I had a solar blanket. Remember those solar blankets? They're like silver solar blankets.
Yep.
And I'll tell you something. I woke up, I was just burnt. And guess what I woke up with the next day? First time in my life. Big, cold sore, herpes right on my lip. Okay? And I'll tell you, I'm living proof that I don't get these anymore. I don't even get a little inkling anymore. It's over. And I'll tell you something, that's a nightmare. So whether it's on your mouth or it's downstairs, it's the same thing.
Yeah, so I asked this lady, like, well, how much do you use to control her herpes? And that was years ago, and she did a little store here in town, and she's bought another black gold the other day, and she's still on it. She said, well, I put a teaspoon in my tea in the morning and a teaspoon in my tea at night, and that stops the herpes.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the black gold.
Yeah, that's the kind of black tea you want to drink. Okay,
Texas.
All right. So, anyways, I want to thank everybody for joining me, and just know this, that we wish you and your family just the best of everything, and I mean that. You know what? If you give me an email to quickstart@docofdetox.com, I'll send you my 7 empowering steps. But also, everybody out there, go check out my library. Just go to my website, go to the front page, you'll see library, click on that, sign in, and take a look at the Humic Fulvic book, and look at all the research. You know what? They can't tell us we can't do this, because this is all the research that's done out there. It's all scientific, it's all proven, it's all backed. So go take a look at the research. Don't trust us. Always, 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 always.
Well,
question authority. Question me. Question Joshua. Question everybody that has anything to do with your health or your wealth or your life. Go ahead, Joshua.
Well, I just want to add to that when I put the research together on all the published medical stuff, I came to Darrell and I said, Darrell, you know what? You could open, by the published medical research in here on humic and fulvic acid, you could open a hospital and heal people of everything just with the humic and fulvic acid by the published medical stuff in this paper. So really, that's the bottom line, is that this is really beyond belief for your health. But understanding how to take your health isn't just in one little area, as Darrell is saying. It's your lifestyle. And so, this is just a step in your lifestyle. But there's many things when you get into to understanding your immune system and what strengthens it and what weakens it, then these are the strengtheners. The weakeners are the chemicals. Chlorine in your table salt. Most people don't even know that the table salt on every restaurant that you go to is made by running a chlorine over top of sodium, and they say, oh, it's the same as the ocean, sodium chloride. But really, it's a poison, and that poisons your thyroid right there, number one.
And one salt's going to give you high blood pressure, and then the other salt's going to actually bring down your blood pressure. Isn't that amazing? So you can see that the more man manipulates anything, the more man manipulates you, okay? So like I said, there's nobody guarding the hen house, everyone. So you need to get this. And now they're all kind of seeing how far they can push us. How much are these people going to take, all right? Well, let's let it end here. Let's start looking after ourselves on all levels, and I mean all levels. Tomorrow, which is Friday, okay, at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm going to have Thomas Malbauer on, and it's called Coronavirus, Microcirculation, and Avicin. And I will tell you that nothing increases your circulation faster and more efficient, and all you got to do is put your hand in it. Nothing will actually bring you back into a parasympathetic state, help you to get to sleep easier, Okay, I won't even go through all the things. If you want to join us, if you can't join us at that time, you can watch these shows anytime you want. And just remember that all our shows are timestamped. So every question, every topic, and you'll find that on YouTube, everybody. So next week on Monday, you don't want to miss this. I've got Del Bigtree, okay, and he's going to be really pulling the pants down on the coronavirus. So that will be at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So let everybody know that'll be March 30th. And then on Wednesday, we have viruses, 5G, and frequencies with Peter Webb. And he's going to be talking about radionics and how all these frequencies are actually, the negative frequencies that are out there right now are actually disturbing your pets, livestock, and human beings, and how it's actually causing the viruses to just go on a rampage with us, and how you can protect yourself. That's Wednesday, April the 1st. Then on Thursday, April the 2nd, no, we're taking a break then. Friday, April the 3rd, then we'll be doing Del Bigtree, and that'll be at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and he's going to be doing a live Q&A. So bring your questions on, and don't be afraid to challenge me or Del. You know what? Practice challenging us so that you can challenge your government and the medical system. So see how it feels. It'll make you feel really powerful. Come challenge us. Try to find the holes, all right? And then you get really good at that. Maybe you'll stand up for your family. Wouldn't that be a heck of a thought? Okay, because I'll tell you something. They're coming for you. All right. So, and also don't forget, if you want to take my A to Z wellness masterclass, okay, or you want to do my emotional Braveheart, send me an email. Send me an email to quickstart@docofdetox.com. We'll send you back the 7 empowering steps. All right. And just know this, that if you want to download any of our shows, just the audios, okay, you can go to iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud. All our shows are there. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. And just remember something, okay? Inside of you is a brave heart, and you need to find it right now, okay? Go to my Braveheart 12 Loving Steps. Take a look at what the Love Band, Life Band's all about, okay? This will help you to stay in your conscious mind. This will help you to wake up. This will help you to learn how to love and respect and protect yourself and your family. And make sure you take a look at also connecting to your breath, doing the lion heart breathing. 6 seconds in and 7 seconds out. Because when you connect to your breath, you connect to a higher power, you connect to your creator. And learn to calm down, because your creator only speaks in whispers. And when you've got a crazy mind, you're never going to get the answers that you deserve, okay? And the last thing is, every time you go to the bathroom, I want you to look in the mirror and say, let's say if your name was Jennifer, Jennifer, I will love, protect, and respect and honor you first and foremost before anyone else or anything else. So help me God, so that I can become the light for my family and show that my family the way. And you are the way. Have a beautiful day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thank
Bye
you.
now.
Thank you very much.
If you're looking for life-saving and life-changing information, well, you've come to the right place. Don't forget to click and subscribe. Stay connected.